Hey, hello. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Let me see. Yeah, I think my stuff is on. Let me check one more time to make sure everything is set up on audio. Yes, it is. I believe. Okay, so you guys can hear me. All right. Hello, welcome to the Black Man Unfiltered Network. Art Payne here. Hey, we got a good one for you today, and I know every time we talk about men, women, sex, black, white, and relationships, I think a lot of people like that kind of stuff. But this one, we're not going to just jump to the chase. I'm going to send you through a series of our conversation that may lead men, not just black men, but men in general. But we're going to, hey, what's going on, Trey? What's going on, Finesse was Visions? We're going to just go down the daisy chain, which may lead us to why people think that AI robotic woman may compete with the real flesh and blood feminized woman of the West in the future. It's just not coming out of nowhere, right? There's a lot of, I guess, series of events and the way we view each other that may lead a whole bunch of men in that direction. Now, it's not going to be every man or none of that shit. Uh, but will it make women change? Will it make men change and all that kind of stuff? But first, welcome to the chat and all that kind of stuff. This Friday is my anniversary, 38 years. So me and the wife are going to be out of pocket for a few days. That Monday show, I'm not going to be available. 100 Watts will probably be here taking over the show. And whoever else BMU wants to have on the station. But I'm going to be just chilling out with the wife and all that kind of stuff. So we're looking forward to that. It's kind of fun. I'm trying to get her to retire, but I think she doesn't want to because I think the thought of spending 24 hours around me is probably like really frightening for her. You know what I'm saying? Oh man. Let me see. I thought I sent the link. Well, here's a link right now. Hey, the link I'm gonna put right in the chat. Yeah, man, I apologize 100, man, because I think, every so often, I think you already have the link just like I do. But here's the link is in the chat, so you don't have to go to your email. Just plug in right there. So you should be able to see it. It should be available right now. Once you come up, we'll go through the icebreaker and all that kind of stuff. And there you have it. There you go. Yo, man, I apologize because every so often I think you have the link too, But anyway, man, so you're here now. What's happening?
Look, man, timing always works out perfectly. Got the kids fed. I did one of your challenges today, Art Pan. I did one of your challenges today.
Right? What challenge?
I went to the grocery store and I said, "Can I feed my dinner and feed my family dinner for $20?" And I motherfucking did.
I hear you, man. Yeah, what did you feed?
We got a baked chicken, some rice, butter beans, and some broccoli, all for less than $20.
There you go. I mean, yeah. I think people you could really feed a family and have a little bit left over. You don't have to really break the bank for that. You really don't. Well, some meals are going to cost, depending on what if you want to eat seafood and all that kind of stuff, you're going to pay a little bit of more money or high end steaks. But you could have a good meal with some chicken and stuff like that. I mix a lot of vegetables together too, and that's cheap. So anyway, I don't know if I should have done that when I was in my 20. Well, let me say my mid 40s. I probably wouldn't be so fat. You know, you know what I'm saying? Oh man, what's going on, Trey? All right, listen, man. So we got in the time we're gonna hit this thing with the men. If we could, will we substitute women? But before we get there, I just want to let everybody know we're gonna go through a daisy chain, like I said, of how we got to where we are. Where people are even asked the question, will AI woman or robotic woman replace a real woman? Because if we can get all our lovely sex out of a nice, supple, soft-skinned, warmed, beautiful woman that we could change her face and her hairstyle and put her in any kind of position we want, why were we going to go through the hassle of listening to somebody, some cackling hen tell us what to do? So I don't know. So let's see how we got there. But first, let's go ahead and break the ice with this link that you sent me, and because I thought it was pretty funny about how a guy can be a sucker to himself and don't even know it.
I found Rich People Petty to be very entertaining. Okay, Rich People Petty is chef's kiss amazing.
Let's just get there. Right here it is. All right, so let me start this up. Everybody knows Cameron is crazy anyway.
That being said, I want to start off with this donkey right here, Omar Gooding. He's a dickhead, all right? So for the people that don't know, I said something about Omar Gooding, and sorry, Lil Cam, I maybe I didn't outgrow shit. I just have to get with this donkey first. And right here. Omar Gooding Jr., since you got us offended. A while ago, I did this, right? I was talking about the B-class actors, how they don't get paid a lot, and they got to sit around and wait for a director, somebody to call them, and they don't get a lot of films. And I was like, I felt bad for them, and I called him Omar Gooding Jr. by accident because his brother's Cuba Gooding Jr., and I was like, he got mad about it. He's like, yo, I ain't no fucking Junior. And I'm like, damn, I forgot, I'm sorry. So he went out and did 3 records dissing me. And I was like, yo, dude, what is this about? I don't understand what it's about. 3 records dissing me. So then I went on his Instagram and I seen he was doing a comedian tour in mad restaurants, like Red Lobster, Olive Garden, that type shit. He's doing comedy. So if you go out and eat, you might randomly see him doing comedy and shit like that. So I told him, I booked him for one of my movies. It's a movie called Percent. Shout out to Queen Latifah, shout out to my man Shaq Kim. We did a movie and I paid him $7,500 for 3 weeks. And he was like, nigga, I get way more money than that. What is you talking about, nigga? I would never do nothing for no motherfucking $7,500. And I'm like, bro, I remember what I paid you. Nigga, I get chicken. I would never do that. So I got a new thing now that I'm doing. It's called Book My Ops. And what I did was this. I know somebody that knows somebody that know him. I know that sounds like one of somebody, my man Head Ice rap battles. I know somebody that knows somebody that knows him. And I'm like, yo, how much he charge you for a day to shoot a movie? He said he charged me like $1,200. But you know, I could probably tell him you need a favor. I said, tell him I need a favor. Tell him we got $3,000 for him. So my man called the nigga that knew him, and I booked the nigga. And he came to shoot a scene for a movie for $3,000. Could have gone for $1,500. I gave him a bonus for $3,000. And there's no movie coming out. But I got the footage. And I got the paperwork of you signing off on me posting this today. So everybody's gonna see Omar Gooding right now in a minute. Shooting a scene for a movie that's never coming out because I was bored. I didn't have nothing else to do. And I was thinking to myself, all I do is book a plane ticket, give him $3,000 in a hotel. I spend more on floor seats when I go to the basketball game, nigga. That being said, I want to start off with this donkey right here, Omar Gooding. He's a dickhead, all right?
Okay.
So for
that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy, man.
How would you feel if you found out a nigga spent $3,000 just to play with you in your face? Like he spent $3,000 just to play with you in your face.
Hey, well, didn't 50 Cent like?
I was gonna say there's something with these New York dudes. There's something up with them. Their level of petty is astronomical. Because 50 definitely bought out like the first 10 rows of Ja Rule's concert, and nobody showed up.
It's so fucked up, man. Can you imagine? He said, I would spend $200,000 just to rag this dude, man, or whatever that price might be. I mean, these guys are a lot of money, man. You could only be petty when you got money. That's just funny. So what's going on, Trey? We didn't give you a chance to say what's happening.
Not much, man. That's a good icebreaker. That was hilarious. I saw a clip of it earlier, but I didn't watch the whole thing. It was really broken down, so I didn't get to see the full version of that. That is Cameron at his pettiness, and I love it. I love everything about it.
That's just funny, man. I mean, I don't even know how you come back from that. You just keep your mouth shut. Hope it goes away. You
And
know?
who does Omar think he is? Like, I can only think of him doing two things. He was in Smart Guy, and he was in Baby Boy.
I don't even know. I mean,
Yeah, but Baby Boy is on every 7 hours on BET though. Like,
Yeah, but he wasn't the main star of that movie. I mean, he was a supporting actor.
I mean, but he got enough he got enough rememberables. Just stuck it up, little nigga. Stick your chin up, little. You know what I'm saying? He did
I remember. I'm not gonna call him bees. I'm gonna call him. What do you say? I'm gonna call him something. I can't think of what he said. But he didn't want to call his girl the B word, so he said he would call her something else. I can't think of it.
Well,
Yeah.
that's funny.
So he could have got 7,500 to do the movie that didn't exist. And instead he got 3,000 to do the movie that didn't exist.
That's funny as hell. Anyway, so listen, gentlemen. So we're gonna go down this little daisy chain because it could be like a lot of conversation points here till we get to this video that I want us to do a reaction to. But I want to go through what would lead into this kind of conversation. Now, I asked myself the first question because sometimes I don't really believe it. Are men really that lonely? So you know how you go to AI and you ask it a question, it gives you an answer. Now sometimes you got to temper these answers. So the first one is are men really that lonely? Right. So I looked it up and it said, yeah, there's a certain amount of men. Male loneliness is a phenomenon that's coming up. Now, I don't know if that's white men or black men or whatever it is. So there's a lack, what it says, lacking close, meaningful relationships that can lead to various negative outcomes. So if we kind of concede that there's a segment of men out there who are actually lonely, right? And we can conversate that. If y'all having a comment on that, what do y'all think about male loneliness? Because I thought it was just a grift. I thought it was bullshit, because men loneliness is different. Men being alone is different than being lonely. And I think women being alone and lonely is more synonymous. But that's just me thinking. What do you guys think?
I agree with you. I think the idea of loneliness is low key kind of being projected, right? Because being alone is not being lonely, and I think that men typically do have a tendency of being okay with being alone, but that doesn't speak to men's mental health. Like, men that have mental health problems don't necessarily have to be lonely. Like, there are plenty of men that are dealing with mental health problems that have a wife and kids at home. So I kind of agree with you. I kind of think this is a grift against men to make them seem like they're sadder than what they are. And maybe if you guys get your shit together, you won't be so sad.
Yeah. So, and what say you, Trey?
Yeah, I'm not in agreement with this. I don't think there's a loneliness epidemic amongst men at all, personally. And actually, the statistics show that Black men are actually going to have an increase in potential projected marriages over the next 2 years. So we're actually getting married more. How are we having a male loneliness epidemic? So no, I think this is something that is coming from the other side of the gender table to try to make it seem as though that we're missing out on something. And I think to some degree, most men have always been lonely to some degree. I think now they're trying to put a sort of public face on it now and saying, well, it's an epidemic, but I don't believe it.
Yeah, I definitely don't believe it's an epidemic. Go ahead, 100.
I need to find it. See, it'd be shit like this where I wish that I saved bookmarks of stuff that I read sometimes. But I was reading something that was saying that there is no male group, there is no male demographic that is diagnosed and drugged more for mental health than women. So white men aren't diagnosed more, Black men are not, Asian men are not, Hispanic men. There is no group of men that are diagnosed and medicated more than any group of women in America. For the right.
All right. So let's just say that it's a mixed bag, and whoever writes these AI programs have left and right leanings, liberal and conservative leanings, and you never know who's behind this AI stuff and how they bend some of those answers. But let's just concede that maybe there's some lonely men, the quote unquote incels and all that shit, right? So my next question was, what's the intersection between the men being lonely and not getting no ass? Is there a correlation? Right. So that's the next one. So they say, yes, male loneliness can be connected to the lack of getting some sexual intimacy. Okay. Now, from that standpoint, again, loneliness and horniness might have an intersection there, but there's a lot. But we probably concede that there's a certain segment of men who ain't getting no ass. Right. So, but they try to downplay this thing and say, well, it might not be the primary cause. And I have issues with that because I think that if a man was steadily getting some ass, he's probably doing pretty good. At least from that standpoint, right? He's got that release. He knows at least one woman likes him, no matter what he's doing. I mean, am I wrong? Let me paint this scenario real quick. I watch a lot of movies, okay? And that's why I don't like that. I watch a lot of movies. And there's usually a scene when a hero protagonist and a heroine protagonist, they don't really have any sexual thing together, right? But they have to solve a crime, kill a monster, survive some kind of shit, right? But they're together. So they're building these bonds and really nothing. So something happens to the man. He loses a son, he loses his family, some shit. And then somehow the woman is commiserating with him. And before you know it, he's banging her ass out. And then he's banging her out because they have this scene. And her purpose for that, giving him some ass, is to soothe what's bothering him. And then after he gets some ass, then all of a sudden everything is okay. No matter how bad his life is, just because she gave him some ass, it's okay. Now it's okay. That's how she fixed his problem. And I get so pissed at that, right? Not because I'm not the guy getting the ass, just because what do they think that just because I got some ass now all my problems go away? Get the fuck out of here. So when they write those shits in a movie, now it's subtle, and maybe I'm the only crazy guy who picks that shit up. But there's so many movies like that where the woman says, okay, man, I know you feel bad, but somehow they get into some sex scene, and then all of a sudden the dude is cool. So they're kind of telling me that all his problems go away just because he got laid. Right? So either that's true or it's not. And it's not true. Right? So this whole thing by saying, listen, male loneliness, I just think that a lot of men may be lonely, but I think it has more to do with lack of getting sex than anything else. Or female intimacy or anything else. I mean, you might have mental issues. Some guys might be socially awkward, but their social awkwardness is when it's related to whether they could talk to a woman or not. Right? Do we really care about a male sexual, his awkwardness if he don't know how to hang out with the fellas?
I equate women giving up sex to be the same as a man buying flowers. It's a nice gesture. It does not have a long shelf life. It's not going to fix anything, but it feels good. It's nice to look at. They smell nice. It's cool. Like getting sex, it's not going to change anything. It's not going to necessarily make anything better, but it feels good. It's a nice release. It's better than punching a hole in my wall. You know what I'm saying? It's better than going to go kick in somebody's door on some purge type shit. So it's the same as giving flowers. Like the flowers aren't going to do shit, but she had a nice smile on. She likes smelling them. She put them in the vase. Oh my God, my baby bought me flowers. Little bullshit like that. I think I equate it to be the same thing.
I hear you. Well, Trey, I was all over the place on this, but do you think there's some kind of intersection between the two, loneliness and not getting any?
No, I don't think the two correlate. Okay, intersection at all. I think this is another one of these. This is propaganda. Well, the men are lonely because they're not having sex. Well, somebody having babies out here, somebody getting something, right? Because people are definitely having sex. Now, is there a segment of men who aren't? Yes, absolutely, sure. There's a segment of men who are not, but the majority of men are having sex. Now, the frequency in which they're having it, I couldn't tell, right? But somebody out here smashing because the women are having sex. And we know that, yes, they do tend to migrate to a certain group of men, right? They tend to use the same partners over and over and over again. That's why I said there is absolutely a segment of men who are not getting any action, but there are men out here who are
doing pretty good.
There are no barriers to this anymore. Back in the day, there was barriers to having sex with women, but those barriers are gone now, especially as paying for sex is becoming less and less taboo as time progresses. So people they getting work. I was just having a conversation with somebody the other day. Was talking about the escorts in the DMV. They getting work. They getting paid. So just somebody getting in. But I think they're focusing on that small segment of men.
So how big do you think that segment is? Before you go 100, give me a percentage.
I'll probably say maybe a third, probably a solid third, a third of men.
Let's go with that. Go ahead, 100. What do you talking?
It is always amazing in these conversations that people have stats for all kind of shit. I wish that there was a stat to be able to track like sexual activity for criminals. Like, are violent criminals more sexually active, or are they less sexually active than non-violent offenders? Right? Because based on that premise, you would think that all of the men that are in jail right now aren't having sex, but there are plenty of men that are in jail that have multiple baby mamas. So I'm kind of curious about what that would look like, because I think that would be a definite answer as to, does sex and loneliness go together? Because there are plenty of people that are having all of the sex and are lonely. We hear about all the men, man, I was fucking girls every weekend. I just felt so empty. I ain't really feel no love. Like, so
you heard a guy say that before? Shit, I don't hear no men saying that, but I hear you. You know, I hear it everywhere. But
they're typically saying it like when they're talking about why they got married. Like, oh, before I got married, I was out here in these streets, and I, my life, I was just moving from chick to chick, and I really wasn't. Like, now that they're getting married, it's like, oh, but now I'm good. Like, no, you were happier than when you was moving from chick to chick. You weren't lonely. You weren't. It's just you fed into that narrative. But I don't see the. And I agree with 100 watts on this. You can be getting a different woman every night and still be lonely.
And still feel empty.
And still feel empty and unfulfilled.
Well, it's funny though, man, because I agree with that too. I think that was where I was before I got married. I swear nobody believes this because I'm old, right? I just wanted a girl I could hold hands with. I wanted a girl that I could hold hands with in public without trying to dutch and dodge somebody else, where, I could come out and say, yeah, I actually got a girlfriend, so I'm not lying to this one or that one. This one is the lady I chose. And that kind of drove me for a few years, so I didn't have to, try to hide it. So it's not like the other, sex I was having was like unfulfilling. It's just that I knew it wasn't going to go nowhere.
I think what you're saying makes perfect sense to most logical men, like men that have been married or want to be married or have the intention of being, like men that are moving in that way. Like, that makes perfect fucking sense to. It's the ones that want to do all the fucking and lying to girls and all of that doesn't make sense to. Because I agree with you. Most guys just want to find something nice to get close to that they can, if it's not trust, at least be able to release with. You know what I'm saying? I ain't necessarily got to trust you, but I don't got to be on guard around you. I think most men are looking for that.
Well, so the third question I had on this was, what was the third question I had? Was, and I'm going to pull it up. There's a third question coming up. Let me remove this one and come up with this one. All right. Now, is it true that a certain segment, a portion of men, and we talked about 1/3 between 18 and 30, not having either no sexual activity, only one sexual encounter during the year? And would that cause certain men to feel some kind of way, knowing that there's a group of men out there getting laid like a mother? Would that cause some kind of consternation in the male population, knowing that some men, because they have money or because they have status or because they have some aesthetics, are banging away, man? And you sitting there, man, just looking at Pornhub, So, what do y'all think about this one?
I think that it's easy to just point something like that to one thing, right? I think a great example of a reason why someone between the age of 18 and 30 probably isn't having a lot of sex is because they were probably raised by a single mother who they saw as promiscuous and saw a bunch of bullshit that they had coming in and out of their house. So they decided, you know what, when I get older, I'm not going to put myself through that. Male or female, boy or girl. So I think that is a very logical thought process as to why people are deciding not to have sex. STDs are going crazy depending on what you live in. And 18-year-old kids have access to the internet in a way that we didn't have when we were 18. So they're able to see these STD numbers in front of their face the way that we didn't when we were younger. Like, there's all kinds of reasons as to why people are not having sex to put it on.
Okay, so you would apply what you just said to men as well? You know what I'm saying? Dude, it's men. I mean, I hear it sounds logical, but
yes.
Men, okay, given their choices.
Just imagine, like I said, imagine being a little boy and having a single mom and just watching all of the people that your mom had coming in and out the crib. You know, just imagine seeing that and like seeing how she responds based on it and how she treat her kids based on whether she got it. Like it's all kinds of different factors that go in there. Maybe she fucking a dude that put his hands on her. So now because she fucking a dude that's abusive, now she abusive to the kids. Then next time she'll get a dude that's nice. Like there's so many factors that are involved into something like that than to just put it on, oh, he's not having sex because he doesn't know how to talk to women.
No, I got you. I hear you. Trey, what you got on it? No, I hear you.
What exactly is the question here?
Well, the question is, okay, do you agree with some of this statement? I mean, part of it is because you mentioned like maybe 1/3 of the guys ain't getting a little bit. So I would just say that there's some modicum of truth to all three of these things I put up. Maybe it's not in the majority, maybe some of it is capped. But in this third one, you know, I asked the question, you know, is it true that a certain segment of the male population, and you could say black, white, or other thing, but we talk about black people, and get no ass between 18 and 30, and this was the answer.
Yeah, I mean, yes, there is a segment of men. Here's the thing, though. I think that we think that when we just see 18 to 30, that it's just like it's nuanced. I know fat dudes who are out of shape that got a girlfriend and are having sex.
Right.
And I know, I mean, it's a lot more nuanced than we want to make it seem like, because it also depends on the quality of the woman, right? And what type of woman she is and who she wants to have sex with. There are a lot of girls out there that are having sex with dudes who really ain't shit, right? And then there's some women who only want to have sex with guys who are high value and all this other type of stuff. So is there a segment? Yes, but is it easy to sort of drill down on the exact sort of archetype of man that isn't getting it? I don't think you can actually do that. But yes, I believe it. I think 1/3 is a fair number. If you were to calculate all of the 150 million plus men, right, in the United States, probably 1/3, probably between the ages of 18 to 30, probably aren't getting any. But there are a lot of guys out here that are having indiscriminate sex with women based on the quality of the woman, because she doesn't really care. Yeah, she doesn't really care. And because the women's numbers, you got to remember, the women's body count numbers are much higher than the males.
No doubt. So, but even with all the nuances, right? Even let's consider all three questions and add the nuances before we bring Berlin in. Even if you add all of that, 1/3 is a significant amount of numbers. I mean, it's enough. It's significant enough to matter, right? If you had a math problem, you can't say 1/3 is negligible. Right? When I have my physics problems, but
what are we gonna do about that? I mean, I don't have a vagina to help them out. There's nothing I can do about it.
No.
If you're a man between the ages of 18 and 30 and you're not having sex, I would suggest that you recalibrate, go back to the drawing board and try to figure it out, because there are guys that are shorter than you that are having sex. There are guys that are broker than you. There are guys that are coming in and out of prison. There are women like there are circumstances in which you can have sex. Now, I don't know. Maybe your preferences are too high. Maybe your standards are too high. I'm not completely sure. I would have to go through everyone. There are lesser men out here who are having sex. Like, everybody wants to make it seem like, oh, the lowest guys on the totem pole, and none of them. Some of them are. They hitting something
I agree. We're going to come back to what you're talking about. Go ahead, Brolin. What's that? I don't know how much you've seen. Go ahead, man. What's happening?
I've been watching for a bit. I think I know maybe the study is just in America, but I think if you look on a global scale, this number makes a lot of sense. Think about all the young men in India. Think about all the young men in Syria. Think about all the young men in cultures that aren't really sexually promiscuous.
Mm-hmm.
And between 18 and 30, it makes logical sense that they're not having sex because they're in it. So again, that's if we look at it from a global standpoint, that number makes sense now because those men, very skinny, very short, very unappealing, they're not aesthetically pleasing. So now imagine those men in America. Imagine that underbelly of those men in America. And they're not with women who are from their culture. And if women are in their culture, they really want the doctors, the whatever in that community. They don't get to have sex with American women. American women ain't looking at them. So now we're looking at America, and there's a large undercurrent of men who are completely undesirable. And I think that if we think outside of our own community and start looking at the other communities, maybe the Asian community, an Asian young man in between this age in America, who does he really get to have sex with? Well, a lot of times the Asian women in America, they want white men the most.
Yeah.
So that might make sense if you start looking outside of our own culture, because we have a very high sexual nature in our culture in America through our programming. But if we look at the nation of whole, there is a large number of young men between this age that are not having sex. So our advice to them is, we'll just go back to the drawing board. This Asian person who's 5'3", what does that mean? Go back to the drawing board. And we try to maybe give them we'll just have some game, and it doesn't work in that community. So I think we have to look a little bit outside of our own community to really evaluate this question, and then it might make sense.
All right. So anybody else on what he said? You're on mute, Trey.
I think that
my advice wasn't to men outside of America, because I don't really give a shit what people have. What's going on
I brought it back to America. I brought those communities back to America. I just made the point.
I didn't interrupt you. I don't really give a shit.
But you're framing it wrong. I did bring it back to those communities in America.
Roland, we got you. Let him go ahead.
Okay. At the end of the day, I don't give a shit what a man in Japan, what his problems are. At the end of the day, that's
Japanese men in America.
Let him finish, Brolin.
Okay.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine, sir. But
you sure?
You said you don't give a shit about. That wasn't what I said. I brought it back to America.
Can you let me finish?
I just made my original point. Maybe you heard my original point. You didn't hear how I finished it. I brought it back to America.
I heard everything you said because I didn't interrupt you like you did me.
Okay.
Yeah, don't take it personally. This doesn't. I'm speaking.
I'm not taking it personal.
No, forget it. Go ahead, man. That's kind of crazy.
Brolin, let him speak, and then you could come back.
No, go ahead, RP. Go ahead, RP.
No, I just want to try to get some decorum, not with all of us, right? But all of us here, we're trying to give each other time to speak. So it's a corrective moment, but it's not a big deal. I just let them speak. Say what you got to say, Trey, and then Brolin, if you need to come back, you could come back, and just let people speak until they're finished. That's all I'm asking. That goes for me too, by the way. You know, so if you Trey, do you want to finish or are you good?
I'm good.
All right. So look, 100, you were getting ready to say something.
I think the point that he was bringing up, kind of like we were talking about, just adds to the nuance of making a bold statement like this. Because even if you apply the part that he was talking about when you talk about other cultures, like some people between 18 and 30 are not having sex because they're making a conscious decision to move differently. It's not because they don't have the ability of getting sex and they don't have access to sex. They're just making the choice to move a little differently than just being free with a private parts. Some of this I'm curious of what everybody thinks the percentage of it, because if Trey says he's thinking this is about a third, I'm wondering what we think the percentage of this is just natural selection, because all men are just not, like, everybody's not going to be able to procreate just based on nature. Just some people are just going to be left out. So I'm curious as to what y'all think the difference is between based on human nature and social programming. Because because if we're talking about 33% is what's not getting any, Okay, cool. Maybe 12% of it is natural selection, and then the other 12 or 16% is social programming. I'm just as an example,
Yeah,
just curious
okay.
what on that.
I got your question, and anybody can take a chance at this. But one, I just want to make it clear that I put these three up for this kind of conversation, but I still am leading to something because even part of all the three questions I asked, a part of it is yes, even if you add nuance to it. So going to your thing, I think men who are healthy are naturally wired to at some point to want to have sex. I don't think I don't care what kind of system or government or where we are. I think men naturally want to have sex. Now, whether they can or whether it's accessible and all that kind of stuff, whether you're in a religious country, but that's why I was trying to keep it towards the United States and women of the West. Because even if we add the outside, that doesn't change the nature of man. What changes is the mores and the religious tenets and the social tenets that they're under in those other countries. That doesn't mean a man doesn't have boner. Like, for example, in Saudi Arabia, that the reason why they have to wear these fucking burqas is because if a man sees an ankle and shit, his dick gets hard. You know what I'm saying? So, in the West, now we're almost desensitized. You can wear your tits out and you can't even get a boner anymore because they're all over the fucking place. So let's try to mold that into one big ball. Men in general are wired to want to have sex by nature because it's God-given. If you're a healthy man, and everything else that stops you from trying to take it by force and all that kind of stuff is the character that you have. But wanting to have sex as a man is just a natural thing, and we need to make sure we get that shit straight. And that's why I have problems with. I'm a Catholic, right? I was born a Catholic, I should say. And one of the things I thought the Catholic Church was wrong in doing was somehow conjuring this bullshit up that you can't worship God and get pussy at the same time. Because I don't think anywhere in the Bible God says, you know what, you can't have no ass if you want to worship me. And so they didn't really, you would have to go under some intense kind of study your thing to cut off that part of your natural life. That's why they were buggering all these goddamn boys. So I'm just saying we're naturally wired to want women. And so let's go from that standpoint and then come back to, some dudes do make a conscious decision not to have ass. That's a gift, or to focus on something else. But we know there's a whole bunch of guys, no matter where they are, they can't think of nothing else. So let's put it all in the big ball and say, is this going to drive us to someday wanting to have a nice AI robotic woman that is built subtly and everything else, where I don't have to put up with a woman's feminist bullshit to get some ass? Right. So that's why I'm putting the questions in the way we have it. Here's the last one before we go. Here's the last thing, because even if you're married, that shit's not protected. And let me put that up for you guys, just so you'll know where I'm coming from. Let me find it. And you guys tell me whether I'm all wet on this one. Even when you're married, you're not protected behind a wall, right? Well, let me do this. All right. Let me share it. And let me, if I can get to it. All right, here it is. Can y'all see this?
Someone else every single day of your life. Every day. Every day you gotta deal with somebody. Is marriage even worth it? It's not. It's not. At some point, you're gonna realize that it's always best to just be alone. Because I've been married for about 7 years, and I don't even know if this is worth it. And not saying that there's anything necessarily wrong. There's nothing wrong, and that's the point. I don't even know why I'm upset. I'm just not thinking that I made the right decision.
This woman was married for 7 years, got kids, and she's still talking this idiocy. I even put a comment in there and called her an idiot. Of course, they took it down. But I mean, so even when you're married, we know 70 to 8% women are still giving you shit when you think your life is on autopilot.
And I have a good man. I do. And that's not the point. The point is, it's like, you really do lose yourself. You lose your sense of individuality.
Okay, I have a good man, but that's besides the point. And you lose your individuality, which is pretty much the whole cornerstone of taking a vow with somebody.
Your sense of peace. And this could be even to a good man. Like, you're gonna lose something, and I don't think it's worth it. Like, at all. I've always had a dream of, like, getting out of my hometown, like, city, and moving on, like, moving forward. Like life is supposed to be experience. Like, we're supposed to be doing new things and traveling and all that. And I do all of that. But at some point, like, I don't know if I want to continue doing this every single day of my life. Like, always checking in with someone.
Okay, anybody else have enough? I mean, it's not that much longer, but if y'all want to say something now, or y'all want to wait?
Is this
I'll say
not what
something.
loneliness look like?
Okay, so go ahead. Yeah, that's what it looks like. But go ahead. You want to finish? It's only another minute or so.
I do want to say something real quick, because it's like, I think she's just being honest. And I think that in reality, majority of women think this way. If there was no such thing as, let's say, marriage, right? Or if there was marriage, but there was no such way of having a divorce. And if the woman truly, truly wanted a divorce, then she gets financially ruined the way that men do. Then I think the majority of women would not want to be married. I think we as men believe this lie that, again, because marriage is not supposed to be short-sighted. Marriage is supposed to be till the end of life. I think we as men have been fed this lie that women want to be with one man for the rest of their lives. And I think there's enough examples that we see that majority of women don't want, they might want marriage, but they do not want to spend the rest of their lives with one man. And even if you speak to men who are married and have had relationships that are even past 10, 15, 20 years, if they're honest with you, they will tell you that they're just going through, like, the sexual passion is not there. It's not really there anymore. They're happy to get some sex maybe once a month, and that's them winning. A lot of men in marriages have to hope they get some sex on a birthday. It's a running joke. So I think that if we connect the dots, we'll see that women don't want to maintain the honeymoon phase that starts in the beginning for a lifetime. They get used to you as a man. So this woman, though, I mean, it's funny to some. I think that when women see this, it rings true to them, because at women's base nature, they don't want a marriage for a lifetime. They want a marriage, yes. They want the benefits that come in divorce, yes. But if you flip the script and said that if you got a divorce, you have to start paying alimony to the man, and you got to pay child support, then women in general would not want to be married. So that means that they really only want the benefits that come after the marriage is over.
Let me ask you a question. Based on the nature of men, do you think men feel similar? Like, one piece of ass over that long piece of time ain't no good either?
I think at men's base nature, yes. I think that most men would not want to just be with one woman for the rest of their lives. They might want to love one woman for the rest of their lives. I believe that. But I do believe at the base nature, if there wasn't a society telling men that they had to be faithful to one woman for the rest of their lives, that most men would not really want to do it.
Okay, so let me ask you: have you ever been married, Bronan?
No.
Okay, listen, and you know what? I don't disagree with you. As a man who's been married as long as I have, that's why I think people get married for the wrong reasons. I think, like as you're saying, and that is the sacrifice of the vow, right? If you don't understand the vow that you're taking, because that's the downside of that shit, right? You ain't getting no other ass, and she says to you, she ain't sucking no other man's Johnson, right? So of course, we know that even if your woman was a virgin, right? Because if she goes through life saying, I never knew another man, she's gonna say, God damn, you know what? I want to know what it feels like getting stuck by somebody else. She might not do it, but it's goddamn gonna cross her mind. So I don't disagree with what you just said, but therein lies the sacrifice of the vows. You know, and if you really don't think you're gonna go through with it, I would suggest you just don't get married, because I can't say you were lying. I can't say you're lying about that. Anybody else? But don't get on TikTok saying,
I'm not letting her. I'm not letting her off the hook. At the end of the day, she's a grown ass woman who stood up there and made a decision to be with someone. Nobody put a gun to her head. She didn't understand the vows and she didn't understand what marriage was. She should have been an adult and sat down and asked questions and said, hey, what am I actually getting myself into here? Oftentimes, we want to bail these women out. This woman said ain't nothing wrong with her husband, ain't nothing wrong with her marriage. There's nothing wrong here. And yet she's sitting up on TikTok talking about that she doesn't want to do this.
it's just crazy.
This is insanity. This is the problem. And the issue here is that we constantly let women like this off the hook. No, you are a selfish woman. That's your problem. Your problem is that you didn't realize that when you got married, it ain't about you no more. Screw your individuality. It's not about your individuality anymore. That's a problem. It's about the last name of the family and the legacy. It's about the family. Everything at this point, from the moment you got married, is about the family. And that's the part you don't understand, your individuality. You think your husband don't want to exercise his individuality when he get up and go to work every day? You think your husband don't want to exercise his individuality when he don't want to be hanging around your ass? He'd rather be watching a football game with his boys or eating wings and beer or doing whatever it is that he wants to do. Everybody wants some individuality. I love to play golf. Can't go play golf. Not as much as I like to. We all got some sort of individuality and some things that we want to do. This is ridiculous. And at the end of the day, the reason why a lot of these women, why you have the fertility crisis that we have, why we have the marriage rates, is because a lot of these women are unfit. She should not be married at all. I guarantee you, her husband don't even know how she feels. I guarantee you that people on TikTok know more about this woman after 7 years of marriage than that man does that's been married to her. I bet you he don't even know she feel this way. And yet she decided
I guess she does now.
to go on TikTok. Yeah. Oh, he knows now. Yeah. But she decided to go on TikTok first before sitting down and having a conversation with her husband like an adult, like a wife should do.
You're 100% correct, Trey. With everything you just said. But you said wife and adult and husband and man. In our culture, in our programming, and what we were brought up listening to, watching, and entertainment, I would surmise that in our culture, we don't ever evolve to universal man and universal woman. We grow old in masculinity and age, but our brains stay in a childlike state on men and women's side. Not all, but I would say the majority of the people who try to do this marriage or have children never quite have seen the teachings or have never quite got the programming that offsets the programming that we've gotten to be destructive. What our programming is to say we're individualists in hip hop. It's all this programming that we watch this entertainment more than we read the word. We might read the word one day, a few hours of one day of the week, and then the rest of the week we are getting this other programming. So until we actually dissect the programming and start ignoring the programming and start switching to the pendulum to what again, I'm not Christian, but there's great messages in Christianity that if you abide by them, you will get better results. So I'm just looking at the results. If people would do that and start ignoring the clearly demonic Hollywood that's giving us programming to be destructive and focused on whatever your foundation is in your culture and your code and staying true to that, we would have better marriages and better outcomes.
Oh,
Go ahead, 100.
somebody some of these motherfuckers just needed an adult hug. I don't disagree with anything that you said if the person that you're talking about is still in their early 20s, hasn't really experienced life yet, hasn't really been through shit yet. Like I would understand that if you were talking about somebody in that form, but you're talking about a person who's been in a 7-year marriage, who clearly had to go through some sort of process of dating or courting or something of the sort. And who's to say how long that process was?
Mhm.
There were plenty of times and opportunities and moments where you could have stood on your 10 and spoke your piece, because I guarantee, motherfucking as long as they've been together, there have been plenty of arguments where she stood on her 10 feet to say, I should be heard. Mine's me, hear me. I need to express myself, all of that. And he gave her the space and the opportunity to do that. And I agree with Trey. She probably did none of it. None of what she's talking about right now, because how does it make sense? Like, okay, like, he's doing everything you asked him to do. He did everything you asked him to do. You wanted to travel, you're still traveling. I'm not sure if y'all have kids or not. Maybe y'all set up a life for y'all to not have kids. Y'all probably don't have kids. Y'all don't have it. Y'all still traveling. Y'all making a decent amount. I don't understand. So then this is a scenario where the man that's sitting behind this be like, you know what? Fuck all these bitches. So now you got a monster out here, and now this is a high value monster because this nigga apparently he might have money if they traveling like that. If they traveling like that. I don't.
All right, so
My mother said never let a woman turn you into what she wants, because that's going to turn you into the person she wants to break up with. And I think that's very true. If you allow a woman to turn you into the ideal of if you do what she says, eventually you will turn yourself into the man she has to cheat on or leave.
This is a clear example of when I say you could be the perfect husband and it is still not enough.
It's still a man.
You can literally do everything you're supposed to do as a husband. I oftentimes talk about husband being the most disrespected person on the planet. There's no more disrespected person than the husband. This is another clear example of that husbands and I know, sorry to say this, RP, but it's the truth. You have to be somewhat beta to be a husband, because you have to stand by and allow this. You have to stand by and allow this, right? Because a true like if my wife did this, like there would be divorce papers on the counter waiting on her. Like, what do you mean you went on TikTok to tell the world that you're not happy in your perfect marriage?
Imagine taking your ass to where you had a nice hot shower, you got you a nice warm cup of coffee, you walked into work, sat at your computer to clock in and be like, yo, I seen your wife on TikTok last night. Fuck you talking about you seen my wife on TikTok last night? So fuck you talking about, bro?
Can I just
You
say,
gotta do your job, don't you?
Yeah, man. While she was on there, she was saying, like, you know, you a good dude, and everything, but she don't have no individuality. She don't have no individuality. She's saying she can't be herself. What are you talking about?
Hey, can I do you a favor? Let me hit it for you, man. Maybe I'll bring it back to you.
This is crazy.
Hold on,
Let
me just say this one thing. I kind of disagree with the part that you got to be beta, because I never let my wife get away with this shit ever since the beginning. I'm
not saying it's
I know you ain't talking about me personally as an example, because most men do. I took great pains to correct my wife in the moment when she says some fuck shit I couldn't handle. I swear, whether it was effective or not, I got my point across.
Yeah, because when you talk about getting married, like I was saying to someone, they were making a big deal about age gap dating, and I said it doesn't matter if I get her at 25 or I get her at 45. I have to reprogram her.
Exactly.
I have to reprogram her.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what age I get her at, and this is a clear example of
it. By the way, as best you can,
as best I can, yeah. Because the software is so corrupted. It's so corrupted with these women. Like, it doesn't matter. You can get her at 21 or you can get her at 51. You're still going to have to reprogram her to get on your program, to get her to understand this is how we do things around here. And all that crap that you had going on before me ain't got nothing to do with how we do things here. I can't imagine. Because you know what, and you know how I feel about this. We've talked about this before. I believe that men truly do love. I don't believe that women actually. I believe men truly love. And I have a feeling that this man truly loves his wife. You know what I mean? I have a feeling this man truly loves his wife.
Appreciate
and she don't appreciate a motherfucking thing he does.
Yes, that's so funny.
Trey, can I ask you, do you think it's the sister code or the sisterhood that really kind of, because I think that maybe women could be in love if they weren't getting so much bad advice and bad programming from their sisterhood around them.
No, Berlin, you nailed it. Right? They get embarrassed. Right?
Yes,
For instance,
yes.
I'll tell you a really quick story. Brought a chick over to the family house, and we were dating for a little while, and the food was done, and she went and made my, she was doing her female thing. She went and made my plate, and I had some cousins giving her hell. My female cousins giving her hell. So Berlin, you nailed it, bro. Absolutely. It's this sister code that makes these women feel like, oh, well, you shouldn't be doing all that for a man. And I don't even care if he is my family. You should, and it's like, and then it spills over into other things. So why are you letting him, correct you? And the man shouldn't be talking. Well, she's getting corrected because she's wrong. That's why she's getting corrected, because she's wrong.
So if you're trying to save your marriage and really try to save your family and try to isolate her from the sisterhood, they will say that you're being abusive. They will say that you're so how do we, is there a solution to that? Can we isolate the women that we love without being labeled from society as abusive?
Isolation is not the right word. I mean, that's the word, but you monitor it.
Separation is a better word. We need to separate
because you got.
We need to. I know. I agree with Berlin. I would rather isolate. I agree with Berlin. Isolate is the proper word.
Isolation.
But I can understand how isolation can sound like.
But let me add this to it.
Like holding them captive.
Yeah, she agrees with. If you get her to the point where she understands where you're coming from and she self-isolates, isn't that more effective? Isn't that that's a part of the reprogramming. That's ultimately what you want to get her to. Yeah,
right. You want to get her to that point where she can identify the friends that are no good for her, and then she can do it herself. That's what you want.
The problem is shit about control and all that. It's not going to matter.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. And then what then comes in is, well, he's only telling you to do that because he's trying to control you. No, I'm identifying that you're not a good friend. and your friendship with my future wife is not conducive to our marriage. So I got to get you up out of here.
It's like a fat camp. If the goal is truly to lose weight, right, then the smartest thing to do, whether it's a man or a woman, is to completely take them from their environment, put them in isolation with other people in a fat camp for like 2 months, and have them being active with only active foods. And hopefully when they leave the fat camp, they continue that same programming. But a lot of times they don't. So Trey's correct. You need a time of isolation that seems abusive, and then hopefully you return to society, and she stays because she sees that the programming that she was on is the healthiest way to continue. It's the healthiest way to continually staying fit. It's the healthiest way to maintain this marriage, because again, the marriage is supposed to be till the end of time, until one of us passes away. So for a time, you're going to be labeled as
stuck on this point. Go ahead, because I agree with what you're saying. I do agree. I'm just saying that a person voluntarily going for the isolation is better than even when you reprogram it, because it'll stick more if they're volunteer in that situation. The fat camp works with people who want to go there more than a person who was shamed or anything else to go there. Right? That's what
she did agree to it. She got married in the first place. That's the agreement.
I'm listening to y'all. I'm listening to y'all right now, and I'm visualizing all of the work that is required to accomplish what y'all talking about, and completely understanding. And I'm completely understanding why you came up with this topic, Arpain. I completely understand why you came up with this topic.
I want to move on to the next thing, because it's going to be conversations all the way through this. Because let's just take all the stuff we talked about up until where we are right now, and then when we see this next photo, can anybody really doubt why this is happening? This lady, who is cute, made $43 million last year on OnlyFans because of what? 99% men with subscriptions. Is all the shit we talked about leading to the fact that men are looking for at OnlyFans models, IG transactional chicks, Pornhub, all of that kind of stuff to relieve something that they think is missing? Go ahead, you guys take it from here. That's why I'm kind of leading us through this whole thing.
Yeah, I look. I don't know. I don't know.
How do you get
I know
that?
I know that there's a portion of people who believe
How
that.
I'm
that-
trying to
that-
figure out how the internet, it's just, bro, the world that we come into, that you could make $43 million busting it open. Just
There's a lot of men subscription.
damn. I'm glad that I'm in my daughter's life. That's what I'll say. I'm glad that I'm in my daughter's life because this is fucking crazy. You made as much as LeBron James.
She's looking to beat that next year.
I don't think she made more than him. I don't think she made more than LeBron.
Well, they said this $43 million has been verified ever since when, you know what I'm saying? This
Well, I'm saying, but LeBron has investments. He got
but
endorsements.
she's just talking about the basketball thing. She's
Oh,
just
okay,
talking-
yeah,
well,
but even-
yeah, well,
But even see, and you see how you just but come on,
Well,
dog. That's not diabolical. That
Well,
busting it open just made it more than a max contract of an NBA legend who's going to go down as one of the top 3 greatest players to ever play
Well,
the game.
well, considering the plight of the culture right now, it's not surprising. It's just not. There was a chick. What was her name? She was on Dr. Phil, and then when she went to do her OF, she made like $1 million on like the first
Cash
hour.
me
something
outside
like
chick.
that. Yeah, her,
Yeah,
yeah.
Bob.
This is the culture, and now you got the girl's name, Asian chick,
Yeah.
Lil Tay. Lil
Yeah.
Tay is now. She's the next one, and then there's another chick. She's 17. She's getting ready to turn 18. Her name's like Piper something. She's gonna be the next one. Like this is the society, and this is
So what does
this
it
is
say
where
about
these-
men? Well, you can answer that. What does this say
we're
about men?
we're sick. We're sick.
Could you imagine if there was an OnlyFans when the Olsen twins were young
Oh, Lord.
and
Oh,
them
man.
turning 8? No, that was a big deal in the. I think it was the early
yeah.
2000s. If they
Oh, I got
if
one
there was
for
an
you.
only. Okay, go ahead.
Topanga. If there was an
Yeah.
OnlyFans for
Yeah.
Topanga,
She would be insanely rich because we grow up seeing these, and there's a large subsection of men and women who are interested in. Don't forget the women. There's a large subsection of men and women who, when these people turn of age, want to see them in a sexual way because they've already been growing up watching or already been adults watching them, and it's sick. But it is also at base nature. It's because again, if there was no society, then 16 would be like our elders. My pawpaw, he married my nanny as soon as she got out of high school, and he was in the military. It was a 6-year gap. As soon as she graduated at 17 and turned 18, they got married 3 days later. That was the culture back then. He was in the military, and the dad approved of it, and they had a 50-year marriage that we idolize it in our family. But if that same standard was here today, everyone would call my pawpaw sick. They would say that my nanny was groomed, even though he wasn't even around. He was already in the military. He wasn't even there to groom her. It was her family that, presented my grandma to my pawpaw side of the family, and they made it work. But we would take that and say we wouldn't allow it to happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
well, our pain. I want to.
Yeah.
You got to get ready for this. This is the way now. Like a lot of these young girls are going to start to build a following from 12, 13, 14, 15. And then as soon as they start to come of age, it's going to be boom, I'm on OnlyFans. And as Little Tay said, she said, "What are you going to college for?" She said,
Right.
she said, if you're not going to college for science, technology, engineering, and math, she goes, you need to drop a link because everything else is not worth the time. So I'm telling you, this is just the beginning. There was the chick? She was on My Wife and Kids.
Right.
Did the same thing.
But
I
let me
think she played.
ask you-
No, Bernie Mac, I think.
Oh, Bernie Mac. You're right. Bernie Mac.
Yeah, the dark skin one. Let me ask you, but the real point really is that this is being fueled by men in a certain situation. Married men, single men, lonely men, all kinds of men, correct? Because the men are
Yes,
the biggest.
and women.
Well, the women ain't spending this money on this like men are. I mean, what
Not the majority. Not the majority.
what's this? Okay, give me a percentage, Berlin, of what you think the women are putting on this as opposed to the men. Is it 70-30? Is it 80-20? What is it? What do you think it is?
I would say about 80-20.
I think that's
80-20. But if we're looking in our community, if we're looking at in the black community, when it's black women, I would say it's about 70-30. I think in our community, black women are a lot more
lesbianish,
bisexual than we think.
I'm not going to argue that, but
I
still high. They're still high. They're still high. They're really high. Women don't like to spend no goddamn money on anything.
And that's the thing.
I know. Have you seen them in a strip club with other? Yes. Have you seen women in a strip club with other women? They spend money, man.
I do.
I was going to make that point, Berlin, because I follow a chick on Instagram named Jada Cheese, and she spends tens of thousands.
On the shit that they like to do, they spend money. On the things they like to do, they spend money. Yeah. All right. So listen, this is leading to something. I'm still going down this path. Okay. So let me remove this, and let me put this on. Okay. This is a typical bell curve. Now, on a right-hand side, my right is the so-called high value man, right? The 10% everybody keeps talking about. But what people forget is that there's a 10% man on the low end, the Pookie, the Ray Ray, the gang leader, the Umar Johnsons, who are getting a lot of pussy. But they're on the low end of the spectrum because they're out there just fucking around. And there's women who are attracted to the bad boys. There's women for different reasons than the women who are attracted to the high value men. And both of those two segments of guys are just banging them out and leaving a whole bunch of bitter women and baby mamas everywhere. Right? And the man in the middle, the 80% in the middle, is the bus driver that Ebony K. Williams shitted on. Okay? And some of those guys, like Trey said, are getting ass too, but they ain't getting ass like those 10% on both sides, right? They're getting some maybe once a year. They got this. Some of these guys in that 80% group are the ones who are stupid like me. I'm only joking, who want to get married. And then they're looking for their wives, and half of them are looking in both directions, to the bad boy and to the elite guys that they don't qualify for. And here you are, with your lunch pail and your morals and your I want to get married and have a family thing. And the women are looking at you like, well, where's the bread at? How much money what's your ambitions? What do you want to do? So what is a guy in the 80% realm to do? This is where I think most of the guys who funnel and pay for the shit that we just saw, the OnlyFans models, those kind of things, because this is the 1/3 of the guys ain't getting none. Right there in that 80% bracket. So, I mean, what do y'all think about this belt?
I think to go from low vibration rapper to scammer to Dr. Umar is fucking crazy. I had to point that out before we got serious on this because that is fucking hilarious to me. Okay.
They all got the gift of gab, though.
I mean, now that you say it, it makes sense. Now that you say it, it makes perfect sense. It lines up that way. Now that you say it.
Hey man, women are drawn to leadership. It doesn't have to be good leadership. If you're a leader of a gang, you're stroking a lot of honeys.
And you have clout. It was like that dude on the Kendra G show, I think maybe 3 days ago. He was in prison, gold teeth and everything. And I mean, the women were fawning over. And yet, maybe a few weeks before, some regular guy, normal, probably within this 80%, probably would have been lucky if he even got 3 or 4 DMs. But this jail guy got a second feature the next day. People were writing Kendra G specifically to try to get in touch with him, all because he had the look, he had to get the gab, and even though he was in prison, in our culture, for some reason, they're considered the alpha man. But like we talk about the alpha man from a financial standpoint a lot, but there's a large subsection of women that see jailhouse dudes as the real alpha men. They just got caught. you know, because they were doing bad things, and white people caught them. But those victims, they should be out. You know, free C murder. Why? He shot and killed people of color. Why are we yelling to free him? But that's our culture. Why not free the person that was the political prisoner, you know, and try to do something for the community? Why aren't we yelling as a community, but free BG? Hey, I love BG, but still, why as a community are we free them, but we forget about, you know, the person that got falsely accused, maybe who's a teacher, and you know, some girl said something and he got locked up, and then the girl, you know, now that she's of age, oh yeah, I kind of. Why we forget about him?
To all my family members in the clink right now, I hope you serve your time peacefully and get your ass out. Because no, I'm not coming to get you out.
Well, here's another thing. Here's another thing. Let me just say this. But go ahead, Trey. I'll say this after you.
No, as to this bell curve, this is where I thought that the passport bro thing was going to help out the 80%. This is what I initially thought, that this would be not necessarily the solution, but it would be an option for the 80% that were stuck in this little in between area. And but it hasn't really manifested like I thought it would. Like you know what I mean? Like I naturally assumed that I was gonna see tens of thousands of marriages.
The only reason that won't work is because the majority of that 80% rely on their physically being at work to receive the money they need to be in that 80%. So to be a passport bro, you have to like be surviving off, like you have to have already retired. You have to have like some passive income. Like you have to have some way of making money without you having to physically go to work. So the people in that 80%, those are restaurant managers, hotel servers, bartenders, bus drivers, like people that actually got to go clock in versus work from home or on a computer or something like that.
Yeah. Well, then most passport bros have to go back to work. The real passport bros are the ones that can go travel the world and support themselves through their art, creativity, music, whatever. The ones who can actually go into a country and not have to come back after 3 weeks. They can actually go in there and thrive for a year. Those are the real passport bros. The other ones are just people visiting.
Well, then the 80% is screwed. Then they're screwed.
Well, you know, we can. let me put it to you. We hit something on because you're right. That's why I put this up there. We could deal with the numbers, maybe it's that. But just like when we're talking about the prison dude, this is why I'm hard and heavy on that. There's no way women should ever be guards in a male prison, and vice versa. There is absolutely no way anybody should be trying to justify that shit, man. You put women around these guys. They're bringing them in knives, phones. They're going to jail for these guys because men know how to seduce women. And on the other side, with men and female things, they don't seduce them; they extort them. Right? You want to get an extra pair of shots? You want some more Catine? You know, meet me in that room over there. You know what I'm saying? So it's just so stupid because people go against the natural order of things. If you follow that in certain situations, there would only be men in in male prisons and only be women in women's prisons as guards. But that's another side point. But the 80% with the passport bros, you're right, because it is, you got to have passive income and you have to be able to. But I wanted to put this illustration up here to say, let's put an illustration about this 20% we always talk about and about the men in the middle who have to bear the brunt of feminists and feminism and all the bullshit stuff. And even when you're married, just like the chick before, you're not safe. You're not safe. So is it anything? Is any wonder why I'm gonna show y'all the next thing that this is what's happening, which may be happening in the very, very near future. Let me show, because we got to keep going because there's a lot of stuff that we know. All right, let me show this. I gotta share it, and we're gonna play this. next clip. Let me see. Y'all can see this? Y'all see this? Okay.
Hello, John. I am touch activated, although I'm only synced to you.
It's nice to meet you, John.
Amazing.
Feels like real skin, doesn't it? The bioengineered matrix of silicone and collagen, heated to 98.7 by my internal thermostat. Hold it a little longer. It'll help me get to know you, what you want, and when.
You're measuring my somatic responses.
You're intrigued.
Can you read my mind too?
No. But I can read your face,
This is crazy.
which allows me to adjust to your preferences in real time.
What are you learning?
Your skin temperature and heart rate are elevated. Your respiration is accelerating.
Meaning what?
You're aroused.
All right. Listen, man. I want to ask you guys, if you had a honey that could come to you and give you all that shit, she ain't asking you to pay $100, take me to a fancy dinner. She's, I'm attuned to you no matter what. And you're aroused with those big ass bright eyes. What's going down? What's going? Anybody could go. I'm saying this is the direction they're saying the world's gonna go in. And if you're the average 80% guy and listening to Ebony K. Williams shit on you, and listening to all the women who, even the big birthers, say you're not worth it, because you ain't in the 10% towel and all that shit. And and they're creating these things that say it costs you $100,000 to get one, and that's the early models. You wait 4 or 5 years, the price will come down just like the calculator. So
you went on layaway. Get some layaway.
A refurbished robot?
I'm just saying,
It's been used.
Technology gets
Get it off Craigslist.
Okay. Anyway, so what do y'all think about? And I got some more, but this is not video. But just go ahead. What do you think about if this is the future coming, just in general?
I mean, we're laughing about it, but it does logically make sense. Imagine if you can want to look like Roxy Reynolds. How many brothers would buy that? A Roxy Reynolds AI no, let's really go there. Let's have the conversation, man. If there was one that moved like the way that you were seeing Roxy Reynolds move, looked the way Roxy Reynolds looked, and spoke, how many black men would buy it if it cost $200?
It's 200.
Forget making it expensive. Let's just say they wanted black men to just stop dealing with sisters in general. If it was some kind of conspiracy, and they flooded the market with these Roxy Reynolds and porn, early 2000 porn stars, boom, and they do all. How many black men do you think would end up buying one? I would say at least 85%. And I'm being generous by saying 85%. I damn near want to say all is outside of maybe 95%, if I'm being honest.
What you guys are speechless over there? What's going on there?
What have we done?
That question, hey, y'all got to answer that question though. Come on, don't leave me on that island. Give me a number.
It's up there. 85 is probably.
I think 85 is a little high.
Yeah, that's what you think it's high.
Okay. No. Okay. So here's what I'm saying. Here's where I think we can definitely agree. That percentage of men that are having a hard time with women, I would say 85% of them are definitely hopping on board. I think we can definitely agree on that part, right? But 85% of men as a whole, right? So there's a group of black men that don't even like dating outside of black women. So now imagine trying to put a robot on them, right? So then now you're also thinking about the religious aspect. Think about how many men grew up in the Christian church, and now you see you're gonna get a little bit of pushback.
We got a Jessica Alba for the white ones, okay? For the white guys, we got a Jessica Alba.
I think you're gonna get a lot of pushback from men that actually get attention from women, right? So men that actually get attention from women, you're definitely gonna get some pushback from them.
I don't care how good that machine is. It's never going to be a woman.
which is
But
yes.
it listens better than a woman. It
Hey,
follows
true,
directions
true.
better than a woman.
Listen, there are a lot of
turn it off.
pros. There's a lot of pros that come along with it. I agree with you. I'm not
Okay.
arguing with you there, Berlin. A lot of pros. But
A
at the
lot
end
of
of the
pros.
day, at the end of the day, it's not a woman. And y'all
I'm
know
gonna tell
what
you
I mean by that.
There's no consequence when you turn it when you're done with it. It ain't gonna
But it's
jack up your
still-
car. It ain't gonna ruin your reputation.
It's
It ain't-
still
here's
not
the
a
part.
woman.
Here's the part that men that a lot of men are not going to say out loud. Here's the part that they're not going to say. A lot of them are going to choose the woman over the robot because at the end of the day, they know that worst case scenario, if they have to, they can knock that bitch out. They can't knock a robot out. You think am I tripping? Now I'm tripping. Now I'm tripping.
No, look.
Hey, no, you're not tripping because you're right. I would be terrified. I would never smack a
I
robot.
can't knock a
Well,
robot.
There's a movie.
Man,
What's the
it
chick's
might
name?
have an eye flick,
No,
and then all of a sudden it goes into self-defense mode.
Well, hold on, Trey. Go ahead and finish what you say.
No,
What's
no,
the one
I'm-
thing that you say?
No, there's a movie. What's the girl's name? Megan Fox? I
Yeah,
think it's her name.
Megan
Megan
Good?
Fox.
No, Megan Fox.
No,
Yeah,
Megan
Megan
Fox.
Fox.
It's a white
Yeah.
girl. She plays the robot.
Lucy?
right.
No, it's not
Lucy.
Lucy.
Oh, no,
That's
no, you're
That's
talking
Scarlett
about-
Johansson. But no, Megan Fox.
Yeah,
It's a movie
Megan
about it, and she plays a robot, and she falls in love with the robot falls in love with the guy, and then she like goes on like this crazy tyrant trying to kill people. Like, yeah, it goes insane. So, and listen, I think 100 Watts does have a point there. Like at worst, I don't have to worry about her ripping my gonads off because she would be capable of doing it because she's strong enough to do it. Me personally, I can't do it because I just like the feel and touch of an actual woman. Like I don't think that you can. I don't think you can replace that
So
personally.
let me ask you this though, what you're saying then, Trey. So some of the resistance and friction you get from the woman is part of the turn on.
Some of the what?
The friction and resistance that you get from a natural woman, is that part of the turn on? Knowing
You
that
mean like-
knowing
Yeah.
that when to being
it's
able
all-
to conquer. Go ahead.
It's all a part of the game.
Yeah.
It's all a part of the game. Like, yeah, now here's the thing. You don't want to be dealing with a woman who's constantly putting you on the chase and constantly on the tease. We don't want that. But a little bit of tease, a little bit of chase, that is a part of the game. It's a part of the game. It's supposed to stoke my my chase, my chase instincts in me as a man to go after her. You know what I mean?
Our pain. Would you when you got married, would you want your wife to be the same way she was and coming to America? I like whatever you like.
Whatever you like.
Absolutely not.
Yo, she was fine. I don't know what y'all talking about. She was
Yeah,
way
she was
sexier than the
fine.
other one.
Let's
keep it-
What nobody hopping on one
Of
foot
course
for
she was
7
fine.
movies. She was hopping on a foot for 20 years. She was
And I can still have a bath with my ladies, and they brush my. Yes. Give me the African lady who hopped on a foot. Absolutely.
For 20 years from coming to America for 20. Yo, I hear you, but no.
I don't mind. It's like I don't mind a little pushback. I have a problem with disrespectful pushback.
Oh, of
But I don't mind a little pushback on if she really truly feels strongly about something. If she really feels strongly about something, it doesn't bother me for her to just to stand on her 10 toes down about it. But it's when it gets to the point where it's sort of disrespectful. She's taking pot shots at you. It's like, all right, now why are we doing that? That's unnecessary.
See, imagine trying to create that boundary of disrespect with a robot. Like one day she just smacked the fire out your ass. Like, hold up. That's
So
too
100
far.
watts.
That's too far.
100 watts. I wanted to tell you something. This is one of the reasons why I came up here to tell y'all, because they've been doing some research with the AI robots with the women. And they're saying that the male ones are actually leaving the women because they can't take it. The AI robots. I'm being serious. I was reading it today. Like the AI robots are like, yo, I can't put up with this. Like, and they were saying basically the feedback that the software was getting. I'm telling you the truth. The feedback that the software
I
was
want to
giving
find
them.
it. Yo, please let us know where we can find this.
Yeah, I'm gonna go because I was watching Coach Greg Adams and he was talking about it today.
Okay.
And
Then I can find it through that. Okay.
Yeah, and the feedback was that the software was saying that the women aren't good people. That's basically what it's saying. It was like, yo, these aren't good people. So the AI robots is like, yo, I'm out. This is insane, bro. This is insane. So to your point, 100 watts, yeah, she might slap the fire out of you if you're a bad person.
All right.
The
So
AI robots are leaving the women at the same rate that the women were probably leaving us at 80% divorce rate. The AI we're divorcing women at that same rate, you know, and one and half.
Yeah, that's insane. Just because like these AI robots are like in that little clip we saw, it's supposed to be in tune with you. So if you're a naturally bad person, that's what the feedback the AI robot's getting. Like, yo, this is a horrible person.
all right.
They self-destruct. They'll rather self-destruct.
So I got one more clip, and if your guys, from this, I think you guys will be familiar with this thing. And if y'all want to stop while it's going, because I'm going to do it like in 3-minute segments, because I know we got a time limit here, but I want y'all to see this because the guy put a whole scenario together, pros and cons and all that kind of stuff with the woman of the future. So I just need to be able to share it. If I can find it. It's somewhere up here. So let me go ahead and do this.
If you had an AI robot, she would have found it for you real quick while giving you a massage.
Yeah, that's yeah, I know. But I can't load all these things up at once. But we got it now. So let me do it. Oh, here it is.
Already here. It writes your emails, picks your Netflix shows, even makes these cool animations you're watching right now, runs your cars, your thermostats, even your dating apps, knows what you want before you do. And now it's about to replace the one thing no one thought it could, your girlfriend. And here's the kicker. You don't have to wait 10 or 15 years. The brain's already here. The body's already in prototype. The only thing missing is the green light to put them together and sell them. And trust me, the moment there's money to be made, that green light turns on fast. So picture this. Instead of waiting for the future, what happens if the fully functional AI robo-wife drops tomorrow morning? Can the world handle it? Or does the dating market melt down by lunchtime? Let's find out. Ain't that a man? Let's start with this clip.
You only postponed it. Judgment Day is inevitable.
Yes, replacement is inevitable. Just like how cars replaced horses, how live streaming buried the VCR, how smartphones killed off landlines and cameras in one swing. And it always happens for the same reasons: convenience, efficiency, and solving problems people are tired of dealing with. Humans don't cling to outdated tech once something better shows up. Why would relationships be any different? Introducing the future wife. Tomorrow morning, the world changes. Meet the future wife, not your granddad's inflatable doll, not some clunky assistant that calls you sir. This is the first fully autonomous AI partner built to look, feel, and respond like a real human being. And no, this isn't silicone and servos dressed up in a wig. This is companion technology, straight up science fiction that finally decided to clock in for work. Here's what you're really getting. Biothermal synthetic skin, warm to the touch, no more cold plastic nightmares. Adaptive AI personality engine. She actually learns your humor, your bad dad jokes, your schedule. Emotion mapping system. She mirrors curiosity, empathy, affection, without the drama tax. Full conversational awareness with eye contact, micro expressions, and zero "did you even hear what I said" moments. Forget dolls, forget assistants. This isn't just something you live with. This is something designed to live for you. Breakfast together at dawn, deep talks after midnight, total loyalty, no apps, no swiping, no "so what are we" conversations. Tomorrow isn't science fiction anymore. It's shipping, and it comes with free overnight delivery. Why would a fully functioning robot woman be interesting to men? Simple, because she'd instantly solve problems men have been wrestling with for decades in the dating market. We're living in a time with more singles than ever before in recorded history. In the US alone, nearly 50% of adults are single. We're living in a time when loneliness is as deadly as cigarettes, and men are bearing the brunt. They're lonelier than ever, having less sex than at any point since records began, less likely to seek help, and statistically more at risk for suicide and early mortality. Dating app fatigue is real. Marriage rates are in free fall, and for millions of men, the romantic marketplace feels more like a rigged casino.
All right, man. So, all right, so far, this is where we've been going all day long, right? Any comments on what y'all seen so far? Right.
I just want to add one thing, and then everyone. Imagine having this, but then also imagine that when you're ready to have children, you have a surrogate, meaning that you have a surrogate, and then you, the man, you can have the child with your female family, and you could, but the child, you raise the child. It's your child, not a robot child. It's an actual child.
Yeah,
I think that many men would also take that scenario. I think a lot of men would actually have a better fatherhood outside of having to micromanage the wife's happiness inside of their fatherhood.
The question is can your AI wife nurture your child? And if the answer to that question is yes, we've just effectively replaced the woman. I mean, essentially, we don't really need her at this point. We can just get the surrogate, get the child. The AI robot, she's not going to complain about having to take care of the children because, well, they don't complain. So
I do believe that that's the future 75 years from now. By the year 2100, I do believe that that will be what many, maybe not the majority of men, because again, majority of men will not be rich enough to do this. But I think the upper echelon men, the top 20 to 25% men who are financially well off, will have that option, and logically it will make so much sense at that time to do it.
Go ahead, 100. You look like you got something.
Bro, this is basically telling me that I got 3 kids and I ain't got shit to do. Like, I ain't got nothing to do with them. Like, they just, I got 3 girls and I ain't got nothing. Like, what I'm gonna do with them? If this is what's happening, what I'm supposed to do with them?
Protect them, sir. Protect them, and
to do what?
That was your shirt. So
you said protect them from what, or protect them to do what?
To protect them to do what? From what? For what?
I feel you on that 100. I got a daughter too, and it's like, well, what do I do with her now?
I have too, man. I stay up late at night right now. I'm still covering them.
Well, most likely, the way the future's going, your daughter's going to want to be with other women. That's where the future is. Listen, the programming is already starting. You just got to get ahead of the curve. And
good.
Not what I say. I'm looking at what society is programming young children to do. They're programming young men and young women not to want to have relationships with each other. Even all these things with the manosphere, and they're making these points. Some of them are actually important points, but it's also putting a fear in young men. And those young men, as they Freezy had this stream. Again, I'm not Christian, but he was having like a Christian thing, and I respect his point of view, so I was kind of listening to it. And he made the point where it's like the way the future is going, the way that everything's kind of shaping is that the people who are religious and godly, they're not getting the results to show other people that it's smart to go their way. The people who are the ones who are trying to live by the code and live by the Lord, there's too many examples of their lives getting destroyed or them being hypocritical. So when it's time for the switchover, logically, it's going to be almost impossible for those people to convince the rest of society, the 80%, to go along with the Lord versus going along with what society is already preaching with the demonic entertainment and the hypersexualization. You can get a Cardi B sex doll that'll shut the fuck up. Whoa, ain't that something special?
Let's continue with this thing. Because we got to get through it. But you're right. There's really no argument. The demonic forces have pretty much taken over, especially over social media airwaves. It's no doubt about that. Right? Everybody's impacted by it one way or the other. Let me continue this just a little bit.
Fair game. So when you drop a fully functional AI wife into that environment, the appeal isn't exactly a mystery. Men have dreamed about this for decades. A woman who looks exactly how you want, has the personality you like, not the one you tolerate, doesn't make you play mind reader just to keep the peace. This isn't falling in love. This is building your wife like you build a gaming PC. Hair, any color, any length. Personality setting, playful housewife or quiet intellectual. Loyalty dial, permanently maxed out. Want her to cook breakfast in a sundress every morning? You got it. Want her to be into MMA and watch fights with you on Saturday night? Done. Want her to never say, we need to talk, unless it's about upgrading your vacation plans? Consider it handled. No more wondering, does she actually like me? She's programmed to. The death of the modern dating game. Modern dating is like going to a car dealership where all the cars have broken transmission. Yet the salespeople want more money for them. Men today deal with ghosting, endless situationships, $200 dinners for women who just want Instagram stories, being told real men commit by women who've never kept a man for more than 6 months. Enter AI wives. Suddenly, there's an exit door. You think guys want to keep spinning the wheel on Bumble, praying for a match, only to get hit with, I'm not ready for anything serious after 3 months? Nope. They'll walk out of that casino and into RoboBride like it's Costco on sample day. Why women panic overnight. The panic won't come slowly. It'll be instant. The day after launch, FNS think pieces will scream, this is objectifying women. Men are destroying real relationships. TikTok videos will flood with, if you need a robot, you're not a real man. Only losers would buy these. Here's the irony. The same women who say, if you don't like me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best, will now realize men finally have the option to skip the worst entirely. The economic nuclear bomb. Let's talk fallout. Dating apps? Done. Why swipe when you can shop? Restaurants. Half-empty Friday nights. Nightclubs. DJ plays for an empty floor. Wedding industry. $50 billion in annual revenue. Fake morality backlash. The $1 billion in annual revenue. Gone. And guess who else takes a hit?
Let me stop that right there. All of that shit's already happening, right? Restaurants, you don't see the hardly any men couples go out. The bridal shops are closing and shit like that. All the stuff he's just saying is already happening. Not because the women being replaced, but men are not even asking the women to do this shit anymore. Right? That's a trend.
Look, as I said earlier to Berlin, there's a lot of pros to this. There's a lot of pros to this. Because you know what I hear? I hear stress-free. That's what I hear. I hear I don't have a headache when I'm dealing with a woman. I don't have to have this headache, right? And even if I decided I wanted to marry her, she's not going to be worried about how much the ring costs. You know what I mean? Like just simple stuff. I get it. I don't know if I could ever get past the fact that it's not an actual real woman. I guess to be honest with you, I would actually have to take this thing for a test drive. I would have to actually have to take it. I'm serious because I can't tell you what does it feel like. And you know, I'm a tactical lover. You know what I mean? I need to. What does it feel like? You know what I'm saying? I need to know. And so, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think we lost.
Think about it for this way too. As men get older, right? Let's say after 48, it's hard for you to play. It's hard for you to micromanage. Again, I've bartended all my life, and men in that age gap between like 48 to 60, they have a very hard time in marriage, maintaining it. The kids are getting older. I think men in that age gap would absolutely just check out and get the robot, because at that age, you're just trying to be happy. You're just trying to chill. You want to kind of stop working. But the woman might say, no, you need to keep working. And I think men naturally, about like 55, would easily flock to having this machine because they want happiness. And it's very hard to maintain your happiness as you start to maybe get dementia. Maybe you start to, lose some of your, your mental capabilities. I would give this for my grandpa. Like, hey, grandpa, okay, you're by yourself. Here, take this. Because it's giving happiness. You said it's stress-free, and you're right, but it's also giving happiness. That's a great combination.
All right, here's a question, right? Just one here. And we're going to touch that. They're going to have this for women too.
Yeah.
They already have like penises that stay hard forever for women already. I don't think this would impact men as much as the opposite will. We're going to get to that question later on. If these AI or if these robotic women actually really hit the market in any appreciable way, women will automatically understand that they lose their leverage with men. That's the first freaking thing they're going to know. And they'll be not just worried about losing, they will absolutely go to the courts and legislation to prohibit these things from ever getting put out there. That's what they would do. They would vote like a motherfucker. And we already have too many women in high places to make that shit happen already. They're mayors and governors and, so that's what they would think about right away. Hey, man, we got to stop this shit from happening because how are we going to use these bastards if they don't have to come to us anymore?
And also the women would have the robots because the women are scrambling. You guys remember when the Rose first came out, right?
Right.
And how crazy women went about it. You guys know what the Rose is, right?
Yeah, they're right. Yeah.
Okay. So, so now imagine the Rose, but so you were talking about a test drive. What if your test drive makes men just as crazy as women got crazy for the Rose? So as men did the test drive and everything, it might be better than the real thing because women are saying that the Rose is better than men going down and giving oral sex. That women are 30 seconds and they're done squirting. 30 seconds.
Well,
I'm good at what I do. I ain't never really able to make that happen in 30 seconds.
It's not only that the Roses might be better than men. There's a whole bunch of men who will get caught dead putting their face down in some of these damn snatches, man. Are you kidding me?
You mean Jamaicans?
There at least one. That's one subculture that definitely won't do it. They will, hey man. I know a bunch of Jamaicans. You asked me to do that. That's like sacrilege, man.
Wait, word? You old school then? No, you old school. They talking about eating, man. No. We out here. We down there. We out here and we down there.
I think where the women are going to struggle is when it's time to have a kid. I think that's where they're going to struggle because they're going to have to revert back to the sperm banks. And if men are having the ability to get robots, there would be no need for them to go into the sperm banks anymore. So they're going to struggle at that point because they're going to need to find some sperm. And if the guys are just using their robots, they're in trouble. They're going to be stealing robots. That's what they're going to be doing. Is scraping them out. Oh, this whole thing.
We got to make a connection where the robots that we use end up going, like they sneak out in the middle of the night and go to the women and we got to figure out a way to connect the dots, And
I will say this though. The idea of having AI in the home to do all the stuff that I don't really want to do anyway, and that a woman would do, but without all the complaining and whining, it sounds really good. I'm not gonna lie to you.
And you ain't got to spend no money to feed her. Forgot about that. Think about all the money we spend feeding women.
Yeah,
there's a maintenance course to keep the robot up.
You ain't got to cook. You can cook for yourself as a bachelor and be fine. Like I hate having to cook for women. I can cook for myself, and I'm easy to please with how I eat and cook. But it's so much more work to actually have to cook and impress a woman. Imagine having to. You just completely alleviate that. It's another pro.
That's not one of my problems. I like to cook anyway. So anyway,
you old school, sir. You old school, Mr.
I know.
Us young people, we know how to cook. We don't like to.
And child custody battles, half a family court grinds to a halt. Meanwhile, RoboBrite stock hits $2,000 a share, and there's a 6-month waiting list. History repeats itself. You just don't see it yet. Every time technology rewires daily life, people panic first, adapt second, and celebrate third. Think about it. Cars versus horses. These noisy death machines will never replace trusty horses. 10 years later, horses were for parades and petting zoos. Netflix versus Blockbuster. People want the movie store experience. Nope. They wanted sweatpants and instant access. Smartphones versus payphones. What if everyone walking around glued to a screen ruined society? Maybe it did, but no one's going back to dropping quarters in a sticky booth. And now, robo-wives versus modern dating. Right now, the loudest voices are shouting, you can't replace real love. This is creepy and unnatural.
You know, it's no mistake that he puts these big ass fat women up there saying this, man. That's fun.
Only losers would ever buy one. But give it a decade. The same people who mocked smartphones now sleep with them on their pillows. The same folks who called Netflix lazy now binge 14 hours of true crime without blinking. So don't be surprised when the same women screaming, men are pathetic today, are posting tomorrow. So my Chad 3000 just got the firmware update. Ladies, he cleans and folds now, because history doesn't just repeat, it evolves, and evolution always wins. The shaming won't work this time. They'll try the same tactics they've always used: shaming, guilt tripping, calling men creepy or lazy. But here's the thing. Men have been shamed for everything already. For wanting feminine women, for not wanting fat women, for not wanting single moms, for avoiding marriage. Now, men have peace, loyalty, and affection without the price tag.
All right, so you guys get the point of all of this shit, man. So
Look at how happy he is.
you know, so
No, look, I do agree with that point, though, Arbang, that a lot of the things that they said wouldn't take over absolutely took over. And so I do agree with that point that given time, given the right marketing, right, this could be a situation where you not having one in your home, actually, you're the outcast now.
Yeah,
because you don't have one.
Right.
It's like when you have, if you have if they go to their teenage friends and say, "Oh yeah, I don't look at porn. Sorry, I don't look at porn." They'll be outcast by their own friend group. Like, what? What's wrong with you? You know. So in the future, if you didn't have one of these, your peer group would shame you into getting. Oh, bro, come on, man. It's the same thing that we kind of complain about with the sister code and the sisterhood and how they mess women up. It would be the same thing with the brotherhood. They would guilt so many men into getting one, or at least plant the seed for them to have the curiosity of it.
Yeah, well, let me ask. I got some questions on this. All right. So, because we have a few minutes left. Listen. In general, how will men embrace this technology? Will men gravitate towards this tech in the future? And what percentage do you think, if it's available and they start having these nice, creamy, fluffy, tactile women that look like women, even though you might be able to see the kinks, but you can grab one and they heat up in your arms and they can move and subtle and, and shit like that. And with the AI, they talk to you like Siri or Alexa, right? They can have full-length conversations and you could program them for certain things. How would that, where would men fit with that? What
is the price insanely low?
No.
Or is the price really high?
It's going to start out high, just like any technology, right? Demand.
Then in that case, it won't be it'll be just a small subsection. But like if it's like $100,000, I think a lot of men will just be frugal and just use their hand. And so, but I think that if the goal was complete chaos and you dropped the price to 200 and it still had all those capabilities, I think 90% easy.
Well, it won't be.
And even the men that can get some would still be like, I can get some, but this is easy. I can have 5 of these robots.
Yeah, but
I think even the men that could get some,
200. It's not going to be 200, but it
I know it's not. I'm just saying. Okay.
But no, let's not go extreme. Let's say it was $5,000. Men, maybe
$5,000. Oh yeah, $5,000. They would buy that 90%.
So here's my thing. So you said a thing. How would the world change if a significant percentage, let's say 10%, 20% of the men actually opt for this shit? How would the world change? Because it's already a glut of women right now. I tell guys, I say this freely. There's no shortage of beautiful women. There's absolutely no shortage of beautiful women in the world. There's not.
In which country?
And I mean, if just put them in as a whole, there's no shortage of beautiful women.
Yes, there is. If you take away makeup, if you take away makeup and filters, yes, there is.
No.
If you take away makeup, no, we judge beauty by makeup. If you took away makeup, There's absolutely a small subsection of people.
Finally, someone who's saying what I've been saying. I've been saying it for years. Finally, somebody else says it. Because what has happened is men have evolved to being attracted to makeup and hair. But in actuality, that's not the standard of beauty.
What's the
Finally,
standard?
somebody else says it. Thank you. Goodness.
No, okay. So listen, all right. Remember now, maybe I shouldn't say beautiful, but you don't have to be a beauty queen to attract for men to be attracted to.
Of course.
Right. So I'm saying there's no shortage of women who are sexually appealing. Maybe I should say that. Because even if they weren't wearing the wigs and all that shit, I think most men will still get a bone if she moves her
profile
looks good. And she's like, and her lips are fit, her face is
bam. Have you no? Have you had a woman try to seduce you without that stuff on before?
Back in my day, women weren't wearing shit like that. So it was more natural.
That's not how it is now.
Okay. So maybe I wasn't too.
When they take when the wigs come off and they take all that stuff off,
you look like gremlins.
Stop telling these women they already got an inferiority complex. Now you tell
because they should have built their beauty the natural way. No, I've dated crystal mushroom sisters who do it the natural way, and they're very light in makeup with the waist beads but I'm talking about the women who have gone the other way and gone with the wigs and the ratchet look. That stuff comes off, when the waist trainer comes off, when it comes off, and you want me to get a boner. No, put that back on.
Jesus Christ. Oh man. So every woman's like the chick and she gotta have what's the one where
I'm gonna get you, sucker.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get you, sucker. Yes. Don't make me hop after you. Yes, that's exactly what this dating market has turned into.
Oh my God.
To answer your question, Arpain, I think that men who can afford it,
I
don't think they have problems getting women. So if he can afford $100,000 robot, it's a decision of whether or not he wants to actually deal with all of the issues that come with a human woman versus what comes with an AI woman. If he wants to deal with it, it's his choice which one he wants to deal with. But the guys who can afford $100,000 robot, they don't really have that much of an issue getting women per se, right? Obviously, there's some nerds. There's some guys. Let me not say nerds.
Okay.
But there are some guys who still struggle, even though they have money. They still struggle with women. So I understand that, right? But majority of the guys who have the money, the athletes, the entertainers, the Silicon Valley guys, they don't really struggle. They'll be able to get it. They'll be able to get a woman for the most part.
No, they can get a prostitute. The Silicon Valley guys, they don't get women. They deal with women very transactionally. Because they know that the women don't really want them that way. They know that they don't fit the. Okay, go ahead.
No, I got one more because I hear where y'all going with this one. One more. How will women react to this in a gram? What would their first reaction be if they know the reality is that they're going to be replaced or challenged by these adequate AI robot women?
They won't care at first because it'll just seem like a rich man thing. Oh, the rich guys can afford it. So it'll just seem like once the price starts to come down and the guys in the 80% can start to afford it, that's when they're going to go crazy.
What are they going to do?
The first thing they're going to do is call us gay.
They'll call us weird. They'll call us gay.
Like are you gay? It's a robot. How am I gay? That'll be the very first insult from the women in our community. Will be you must be gay.
They'll appeal to politicians to change legislation. That's like we know what they're going to do. The same thing they try to do with passport bros. They try to get these guys to not be able to get passports. Like, what are you talking about?
Exactly.
They want politicians to take their passports from them. Why?
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, we are coming to that. This is a good cut. I appreciate you coming up. Any last words, real quick? A minute each. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, look, if I got 100K, she looked like Bernice, I might consider it.
She's actually looking.
I might actually consider it. I mean, I want that. I want that Bernice. That picture of the Bernice that I have. Yeah, that's the one I want. That's the one I want. I might consider it. 100,000 a little steep for me though. I don't know if I want to pay that much for a robot. I might wait for them to come out with the third, fourth generation of it and see what happens. But I can understand why. I do understand why men would be interested in this. There are, and I was saying earlier, there are a lot of pros to this. I mean, there are a lot of pros to this. If you can get past the fact that it is, yes, sir, I am. You're right, man, I am considering. But if you can get past the fact that it is, in fact, a machine, there's a lot of pros to this. And I think ultimately what's going to sell men is you don't have to deal with the attitude. Great topic, though.
All right, go ahead, Berlin. Go ahead, man. A minute before I got to get out of here.
I have to be honest, and if there was the Jessica Rabbit package, I would probably buy it as well. So I mean, great discussion. Definitely something worth. I'm definitely going to go find the rest of that video and finish it because it's a think piece that I want to present to this side of the world because it's coming, and we can laugh at it as much as we want. It's coming. By the time that people, maybe our children, by the time that they're grandparents, it will be here. So we might need to go ahead and start having the conversation with them about whether we should tell them not to do it or not. And I think we have to be having these conversations with our kids now because we have to prepare for what this matrix is going to give us. And it's going to give us some idiocracy and we got to prepare. And I'll end it there.
And listen, you came a little late, but listen, you know what? It's happening, man. It is happening. And this, what happens when the AI doesn't like you either?
We shut it off. It's not going to happen, though. It's going to.
Hey, well, listen, thanks for coming up, Berlin. Everybody, Trey, 100 watts, lit, everybody in the thing. This was a good conversation. I know they're going to clip this up. I don't have much more to say than what we showed. I think it's coming in the future, and it's going to be an interesting future. And everything is going to point towards men finding some kind of relief from the F shit that's going on with feminism and how women are treating them. I said black men, but it's all men, that's going through something in their own little enclaves with their women. I guess it's the microcosm is what's happening to black men and the contempt that a lot of black women have for us. And, this might be one way for us to actually, for men, you guys, to actually fight back. Anyway, with that, I say good night to everybody. And until next week, 100 watts will be running here. I'll be all hanging out with the wife, not my robot, but the wife on our anniversary, 38 years. All right, later on, and good night.